Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Unscaled Travel Show. I'm your host, Jeremy Long. I'm so glad you're here. I hope you're hungry because we got a full helping of travel knowledge. I'm here with my co-host and co-explorer, Amy.
Hello, and apparently I'm here with Yosemite Sam.
The rootinest, tootinest host in travel. We are coming to you from beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada in the Diamondback Land Surveying Studios. And we have a fun and tasty show lined up for you. It's the last part of our America at 250 series of episodes in celebration of the United States turning 250 years old this year. The past couple of episodes, we've explored essential places we think you should visit to get a better understanding of the United States. The first episode was about places like Philadelphia and Boston, where the United States kind of got its roots as a country. And then we moved on to the more modern times, celebrating kind of our national parks and modern marvels and the cities that you shouldn't miss out on.
Right.
And discussing this with you, Amy, I didn't think a series like this would really be complete without touching at least a little bit on the food heritage and the food culture that you can find here in the United States.
Right. I completely agree. I mean, a lot of people from outside of this country think that we all eat very bland, safe food. But a country this big, you have to understand there's different foods based on the different regions. And there's so many different cuisines here. And since this country is sort of a melting pot of people, all of that has influenced our food culture. And so you can have entirely different eating experiences depending on where you are in this country.
I think one of the popular, I would say misconceptions first, but there is a little bit of truth in it, honestly, is that it's just fast food all the time, everywhere, always.
Right. Yes.
And because that's what's popular, it gets on the news, it gets clicks, and it's, I think it's easy fodder. Even though there is a hint of truth in it, we have become, in the United States, kind of, reliant on fast food.
It's a good way to put it. Yes.
Too much so in a lot of places. But you know what? There is still some really unique flavors, some unique, cultures of foods that can be found. And like you said, this is one of those places where you go a few hundred miles in any direction, no matter where you are. And it's almost like you develop, you're going to come in contact with something a little bit different.
Right.
And whether that's just been over time, people just creating things a lot of times out of necessity. Mm-hmm. Sometimes, like you mentioned, the blending of cultures, and we are an immigrant country. So a lot of these things are taken over and blended and just compounded over the years, changed and molded. And we've got some really, really fun, unique stuff.
Right.
Like my favorite thing in the world, I thought it was most appropriate to kick off with, is the beloved Tex-Mex.
Mine too.
Now, you and I, we both grew up in Southeast Texas. This is a culture of food that is blended with American settler, like European, with Mexican and Indigenous and Tejano.
Yes.
And even in different parts, like where you and I lived and grew up, a little bit of Cajun and Creole kind of all mixed together, which is just this delicious blend of herbs, spices, chilies, cheeses.
All of it, which I think brings up a good point that there are groups of food like Tex-Mex or like barbecue, but dependent on the specific location of where you're eating it, it may taste different than getting that food somewhere else in this country. A lot of times it is because of the influences. Sometimes it's because of the ingredients that were readily available in that area. So Tex-Mex in Houston is not the same as Tex-Mex in San Antonio or in Dallas or even El Paso. Totally different flavors in all of these cities.
Yeah. And that's absolutely true. And it's, like you said, it is an interesting journey. Now, I won't pretend to be a chef. I am not, but I am an eater. I am a foodie.
That's the word I was going to use too. We're not chefs, but we're eaters.
There you go. Just look at my pant size and you will know I am an eater. But Tex-Mex actually has its roots in San Antonio. In the late 1800s, this is where they really found that the food began, and it is in fact the fastest growing food culture in the United States.
Really?
And it's overtaken Asian food cultures and things like that as the most popular in the U.S. In fact, in most places that you visit, they'll have some kind of version of Tex-Mex. Now,
Right.
it might be regionalized.
Yes.
They might be adding weird things to it, like clams or something. I don't know, whatever
Well,
people from
saying
New
that,
England do. But
I did visit our son in Washington, and he took me to a Tex-Mex place,
yeah,
and they had a lot of seafood on the menu. And I'll be honest, we don't have a lot of seafood on a Tex-Mex menu in Texas. There might be one or two shrimp dishes, but there's not fish and things like that. So it is very different depending on where you eat it.
So Tex-Mex, I think, is that perfect example because it isn't, or it wasn't invented in a test kitchen. Like, they didn't just kind of intentionally blend things together and go, oh, we're trying to create something new. It was really formed over centuries in this border region with San Antonio, Mexico, America, Texas, all of that, where cultures kind of overlapped. They traded, they intermarried, and more importantly, they adapted based around these borders and migration, labor, but more than anything, survival. If you go back to the late 1800s around Texas and San Antonio, even earlier than that, it was a Wild West frontier. It was harsh conditions in a lot of places. And so you kind of had these cultures that were blended together based on survival. We got to have things, hardy vegetables, hardy things like chilies and things like this that grow out in the heat of the, kind of, if you've never been to West Texas, Midwest Texas, it gets a little arid. It's almost a little deserty.
Yep.
So a fun fact is that San Antonio is one of two U.S. cities that is designated a UNESCO Creative City of Gastronomy. And it got that designation in 2017. The other one we're also going to talk about, and it's Tucson.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
We have two cities.
And both of them are for Tex-Mex?
No.
No? Okay.
San Antonio's Tex-Mex.
Okay.
Tucson is more of the food corridor that existed and has existed for hundreds, if not thousands of years, dating back into native times.
Oh, okay.
So very different reasons, but also kind of grounded in the same things, which is very unique. So the point being that, all across, I think, Texas, especially around San Antonio, Austin, these kind of places, you can find delicious Tex-Mex. And you should experience Tex-Mex.
Yes.
And that's real Tex-Mex with the yellow cheeses. The yellow cheeses that just game you all up in the middle.
Well,
Put some hair on your knuckles.
I think that's a good point. There are some staples to Tex-Mex. Like one of them is flour tortillas.
Right.
You go places here in Las Vegas and they'll ask you corn or flour tortillas. You don't get asked that in Texas. They just bring you flour tortillas most of the time.
They'll actually kind of look at you weird, like corn. Okay. All right. Now, and some people swear by corn tortillas, but traditionally, flour tortillas.
I love flour tortilla tacos. So good.
Oh my
so
gosh. Good. I know. We could just sit here and just
talk about food.
Just talk about our favorite Tex-Mex dishes. Because we have
so many.
I mean, I don't want to say how old we are, but many moon of experiencing Tex-Mex. Well, we're going to continue our talk about food and food cultures here in the U.S., the things that you should experience the next time you're here, or if you're just taking a road trip across the U.S., yeah, we're going to have all that barbecue, all that good stuff, right? Keep it right here.
Unskilled Travel Show is brought to you by Diamondback Land Surveying. For all your land surveying needs, contact Diamondback Land Surveying at 702-823-DBLS.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Unscaled Travel Show. Jeremy Long here with my co-host, co-explorer Amy.
Hello.
Coming to you from beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada, the Diamondback Land Surveying Studios. We're talking about our favorite thing in the world, food.
We talk about food a lot.
Yeah. It is. You know, I used to think it was strange that we talk about food so much, but I think food is kind of centralized for most people's families and for most cultures out there. I mean, on estimate, how much do you think people really talk about food in their daily lives?
I would say half of all conversations are about food. I mean, I know half of ours are.
Yeah. Like, what do you want for breakfast?
Yeah.
Hey, what are you doing for lunch, Jim?
Yeah, exactly.
What do you guys want for dinner?
What'd you do this weekend? Oh, I went to this great restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about second dinner? What are we doing for midnight snackies? There's a lot of conversation about food. And I think, you know, being here, and I'm not, I'm not ignorant to the outside conversations about our nation, about our over-reliance on fast food, things of that nature. But there are really great food cultures in the United States that I believe still to this day fly under the radar. And it's something that I think more light should be shined on.
Okay.
We were talking about Tex-Mex, and in just a little bit, we'll talk about barbecue, which I don't know.
One of my other favorite foods.
1A and 1B for me.
Right.
Barbecue and Tex-Mex, right? But we were kind of talking about Tex-Mex in general, about how it came to be and really how it's just really blown up. Mm-hmm. And it goes back to the I want to say mid to late 1800s to the point where it was more well known. Goes back a little bit further than that, localized there around the San Antonio area, especially like northern Mexico and South Texas in general. We pinpoint San Antonio because it really was the largest or largest and most like well-established city in that area for like the longest time. San Antonio actually is incredibly old.
Yeah.
Like it goes back into the early 1700s, I believe.
Incredibly old for our country.
Incredibly old for the United States.
Yes.
So, I mean, all of these things are happening there, you know, northern Mexico and South Texas, but this blending of cultures, and a lot of people might believe that Tex-Mex is like fake Mexican food, but it's not. Okay, it's its own little subgenre.
Yeah.
If you will.
Yeah, exactly.
It's more like a regional American cuisine that's kind of tied into South Texas and San Antonio specifically. But, you know, I just want to help keep people like framed right.
Right.
When it comes to it.
I agree. I have heard people not from this country ask what's the difference between Mexican food and Tex-Mex.
Sure.
Like what makes Tex-Mex different? And it is the spices, and in a lot of cases it's the cheese, because you and I have eaten real Mexican food, gone to Mexico, and Mexican food in Mexico is also different based on the region of Mexico
and it's so good
that you're in. But in Texas we put cheese on a lot of things, and we use a lot of other spices that they didn't really have in Mexico that were brought to us from, as we were saying earlier, other settlers, other cultures that were near us in the U.S. So it's Mexican food with a kick and cheese, if that makes sense.
Sure.
It's
Absolutely.
wonderful. I don't know how else to word it.
And it comes down to especially things like chilies.
Yeah.
Chilies, they use a lot in Tex-Mex. I love chilies. We use it a lot in everyday dishes, just kind of how we grew up and everything. But specifically, do some research. Google a little bit if this catches your attention about the chili queens of San Antonio. And this, if you ever go to San Antonio on like a food tour, or if you do like a private food tour or anything, which I highly recommend, because they take you to some really unique and fun locations around and give you some of the history and everything. But it's a really interesting story. Basically, I'm going to kind of paraphrase it here. In the late 1800s, there were a group of women called the Chili Queens. Okay. They sold chili not chili like the food chili, but like chilies and other foods from open air stands, kind of like market little marketplaces.
Like a food market.
Yeah,
okay.
absolutely. They set up their tables in places like Military Plaza and Market Square there in San Antonio. But they weren't just selling like food. They were kind of creating a nighttime public dining scene. People would come from all over to get chilies because, believe it or not, chilies weren't an everyday resource for people.
I can see that.
But they were taking them and starting to mix them in their everyday foods. And people were kind of experimenting in their kitchens with, now starting to get readily more available like cheeses and chilies and all of these things, creating this blend that now is famous.
And I imagine at that time, like, because you said, it's like a nighttime dining scene. I'm guessing restaurants weren't hugely popular at the time. So maybe this was sort of, the beginning versions of that and street food, cooking these things from a stall, selling these things from a stall so that people can take them back and make interesting dishes at home. That's neat. I didn't know that.
They became a tourism draw. People came from all over. There are accounts of famous authors coming through, people that never had chilies and things like this before, tasting them and writing books about them and going, this is fire in my mouth, but I absolutely love it, things like that.
Funny.
And it kind of, moved along as refrigeration got better and health code regulations kind of got tightened around. But the Tex-Mex taste was already established by then. So, things like chili con carne, enchiladas, breakfast tacos, that we take for granted every day. And I'm going to tell you right now, and I say this every time we talk about breakfast tacos.
I know exactly
what what I'm going to say.
Yes, I was going to ask you.
The best breakfast tacos I have ever had was in the Rio Grande Valley. This is the valley that sits right between Texas and northern Mexico, in a convenience store.
Like a gas station.
Like a gas station. A fuel. Our friends in the UK would say the petrol station. Okay? And normally, we have a joke here in the United States. You don't buy food.
You don't buy gas station food.
No, you don't buy gas station food. You don't do that. That's like, playing with your own life.
But there are a couple of exceptions.
And they have a convenience store chain. It's called Stripes. And it's all over the Rio Grande Valley. And this was at 5 a.m, the best breakfast tacos I have ever had in my entire life. And it wasn't just me, and it wasn't just because it was 5 a.m. There was a line of people out the door.
Wow. I want some of these breakfast tacos.
For these breakfast tacos.
They sound incredible.
I am so hungry right now for breakfast tacos. Rio Grande breakfast tacos.
We'll have to check them out next time we go.
Yeah. Man, you know what? You keep doing the show. I'm going to go get some food. Keep it right here. Unscaled Travel Show. I'll be right back.
Unscaled Travel Show is brought to you by Diamondback Land Surveying. For all your land surveying needs, contact Diamondback Land Surveying at 702-823-DBLS.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Unscaled Travel Show. Jeremy Long here with my, my co-pit master.
Hello.
Amy.
I'll take it.
There you go. We are in Sin City, Las Vegas, the Diamondback Land Surveying Studios, talking about essential food, eats, taste, cultures.
All of it.
Here as the United States turns 250 years old. Look at us. Grand old 250. If you are planning a trip to the United States or planning a trip through the United States, hopefully we will get those taste buds salivating for some unique food finds across our great country here. We're talking about Tex-Mex, and I got a little hung up on it. So I think I need to move on from the Tex-Mex because I think I could do an entire show on it. But I did want to talk very briefly about Tucson.
Yes.
Tucson, Arizona, is the other UNESCO City of Gastronomy in the United States. It was the very first one named. San Antonio got the designation in 2017, but Tucson was actually named the very first one in 2015.
Really?
So it's actually the oldest U.S. city.
So what food culture do they have this label for? Because it's not Tex-Mex, obviously, in New Mexico. What is their food?
It is more rooted in indigenous foodways. They have a food history that goes back through, I think, traditional findings like 3,000 or 4,000 years.
Okay.
And of course, this is, more modern take is going to be more blends of traditional Mexican dishes with European / that kind of culture meeting together and having the adaptations come from that.
Okay.
These days. So you go to Tucson, you're going to get more, not so much Tex-Mex, but you're going to get more traditional, like Mexican food based on Mexican like flavors, traditional Mexican flavors and indigenous flavors that they're doing it blended. But Tucson is a really great and interesting city to visit because it actually having this gastronomy, what would you call it? Like a glow up.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is becoming a hub of foods from around the nation where you're seeing chefs from all over starting to come there and open up shops and blend. You're starting to see like Thai Mexican cuisine, Japanese Mexican cuisine, all of these like blends of foods. It is a really interesting time. And we haven't been to Tucson in a few years now. And I think we should go back very soon because they got some like award-winning chefs. You're talking James Beard award-winning chefs that are just absolutely killing it right now in places like in Tucson and around Tucson, those areas. Do
you think, and this is a little off topic, but do you think a place like Tucson, these chefs can go there and they can experiment more and it's better received than in a place like New York?
I think it depends. I think it depends. If they're taking traditional stuff, say you're taking the indigenous foods or you're taking traditional Mexican flavors and blending them, I think the critics might actually be harsher. Okay. Because there is, I think you go into that with a like, well, this is how it's always been done. And this isn't real. You see people say it all the time. This is not real pozole because pozole is this. Or this isn't
not
real
authentic.
It's not authentic flavors and everything. So I think it might be a little bit more.
Really?
Or a little bit less forgiving. Okay. Than maybe places like LA and New York where they expect this fusion and they're maybe have a little bit more grace and a little more leniency to things.
I was just curious.
I could be wrong.
No, I'm curious. Like you said, it's been a while since we've been in Tucson, but we have been hearing a lot about their food scene. Yeah. And I was just wondering what that draw is for these chefs coming from other big cities to Tucson to open these new restaurants. But maybe it's just they want to be part of this movement.
Yeah, I think it is a place, though, that you can find a community. Not being a chef, honestly, I've said that multiple times now, like not being a chef myself, I think you'll find a community of like-minded people and people like other chefs and good help. Like kitchen help and the ancillary things that you need to make a dining experience successful. I think you're finding that now more. So whereas the patrons may be a little more like, hey, this isn't as authentic as I thought, I think the scene itself behind the curtain or in the kitchen, I guess, is a little bit more forgiving, a little bit more kind of on the up and up, because I think the chefs are a little bit younger. A little bit more open-minded. And, the rents are a little bit cheaper.
That is true.
In Tucson, Arizona, compared to New York and LA and a lot of these places. But a number of these stops have been around for a while, like the Indigenous run Cafe Santa Rosa, which has been, all kinds of accolades, local and international. Mission Garden, even Native Seeds, places like this that show up regularly on the best of lists.
Okay.
And kind of slide in and out. I mean, sometimes there are things like people are less forgiving of, I want to say, like the Sonoran cuisine necessarily. Now, Tucson sits in a region called the Sonoran. Okay. It's Sonora. Sorry. Excuse me. And that crosses from Arizona, U.S. Arizona into northern Mexico border, right? This is where they created the iconic Sonoran hot dog.
I had not heard of this before.
And then I showed you on TikTok.
Yes.
All of these, and I know it's different accounts, but there are Sonoran hot dog carts that are in different cities. And the Sonoran hot dog is a bacon wrapped hot dog. Okay. Or you already got me there.
Already. Right. Yeah.
But traditionally you'll have toppings like beans, onions, tomatoes, and different sauces that you can put on it. And it varies by taste or whatever. But if you want to start somewhere with like some cuisine, Sonoran hot dog.
That sounds incredible.
Now you might, I know people are going, what does a hot dog have to do with traditional indigenous anything? I think hot dogs are like Twinkies. I think they'll be the apocalypse, and hot dogs, Twinkies, and cockroaches will just be the last
I was
things on
going to
Earth.
say, I think it's the fusion we were talking about, taking something new and infusing those old flavors in it.
Keep it right here. We'll be right back.
Unskilled Travel Show is brought to you by Diamondback Land Surveying. For all your land surveying needs, contact Diamondback Land Surveying at 702-823-DBLS.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Unskilled Travel Show. Jeremy Long here with my co-host, Amy.
Hello.
For all of our past episodes and interviews, check us out online, unscaled.travelshow.com, or check us out on YouTube. A lot of different stories on there. A little bit different than what we're doing today. We're talking about the essential eats and tastes of the United States as we celebrate our country turning 250 years old. So we're talking Tex-Mex and all kinds of favorites. I keep going back to Tex-Mex.
You do.
We just mentioned Tucson. But there are undoubtedly some iconic American dishes. Some of them very simple. Mm-hmm. Some of them, a little bit different.
Yeah.
But they've all been born out of different cultures and a blending of things. And so it's really fun to kind of get into the root of some of these iconic things that we know and love.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of other countries that have, their foods that are loved around the world, but there are dishes that are uniquely American or were created in America and have since spread across the world, and everybody knows them.
When you think of the United States, what is the first food that comes to mind? Well,
for me, it probably is Tex-Mex because of where we grew up. Yeah.
Okay. A hamburger.
Oh.
A hamburger is worldwide. It's okay. We're still on Tex-Mex. We have to move on from it. Okay. So hamburgers. Hamburgers are probably worldwide.
Yes.
What most people think if they go, okay, what's United States food? Hamburgers.
Hamburgers. Yes.
Okay. You're making me laugh.
I didn't know where you were going with that. Sorry.
The hamburger. All right. The hamburger, I think, more or less became iconic because it is almost endlessly adaptable and works at almost every level of not only American life, but just life in general around the world for most people. I mean, because you can take it from backyard grills to diners and fast food chains to even high-end restaurants. Mm-hmm. The hamburger has just become one of those, I think, culinary, I want to say, I don't want to go as far as saying masterpiece, but it is this just revolutionary item.
Yeah, I mean, but think of all the different ways you have eaten a hamburger, all the different toppings on it. I mean, you can go to a restaurant and they can have a menu with a dozen different versions of a hamburger, all because of different things that make that particular burger unique. So it's one of those meals that it has a few staple items, but then can be totally customized beyond that.
What is on your
What's on
hamburger?
mine?
Yep.
Pepper jack cheese,
Okay.
barbecue sauce, and I like mustard. And a little bit of lettuce and tomato. Not much.
So two condiments.
Yeah.
Okay. I like it.
What about you?
That doesn't matter. I'll eat it. You drop it in the dirt. I'll pick it up and eat it. When was the hamburger invented?
Well, that's up for debate. There's a few different recounts of people claiming that they created the hamburger in the late 1800s and early 1900s. You have a guy from Wisconsin who supposedly was selling meatballs at a county fair and for some reason decided to squash one and put it on bread to make it portable. You have another guy in Connecticut who worked at a restaurant and a customer said he was in a hurry, so he took a beefsteak and put it on bread, claiming he created the hamburger.
Sure.
And then you also have a guy from Texas in the late 1800s who claimed to create the hamburger and introduced it to the world at the 1904 St. Louis World's Fair. So there's a few different people who claim they created it first, but basically in roughly a 20-year time period, hamburgers became pretty well known here in the U.S.
Wow. So it wasn't Ray Kroc?
No,
the guy
it was
who
not.
expanded McDonald's.
He just took somebody else's idea and ran with it.
We all saw that movie. Guy's a thief. What would be item number 2 if you look at United States?
The hot dog.
The hot dog?
Yeah.
Hamburgers and hot dogs, right?
Yeah.
That's 4th of July,
That
man.
is.
It was that line by Jennifer Coolidge. You look like the 4th of July.
Stop it.
You make me want a hot dog real bad.
Oh my gosh. That was the worst impression ever.
What's the history of hot dogs? Give me the history of hot dogs.
I don't know.
They're cheap.
Oh my
hot dogs
gosh.
are cheap. They're fast. We don't know what they're made of. You don't want to know what they're made of, but they are decidedly American. Hot dogs aren't necessarily restaurant food, but they are an American gathering food. So
Yeah.
you have our major, especially summertime. You associate hot dogs with summertime, really. And hot dogs also one of those things that are easily and very adaptable. You
Yeah.
can get them 1,000 different ways.
Yeah.
And a 1,000 different places have them all kinds of ways. There's the Chicago dog, which is like, they have all kinds of stuff on their Chicago dogs. Somebody from Chicago will have to tell me how they do their.
What makes it a Chicago
Yeah, because
dog?
it's like a slice of pickle and tomato and like mustard, but it's on like a poppy seed.
Yeah. Where did we go? It was like Original Joe's somewhere in Chicago, and we got a hot dog.
Yeah.
And you were like, I just want it the regular way. And we were so surprised by how they gave it to you because it did have all the, like a slice of tomato on it. I'd never had a hot dog with tomato on it.
And then like a traditional New York dog is just like you get it from the street cart. And I think it was just with mustard or something.
Like mustard and onions or something.
Yeah, something like that.
A
And
little
then
plain in my taste.
I like chili dogs. See, you take 2 of my favorite meals, Americana chili and hot dogs.
Tex-Mex and hot dogs and put it together.
You slap them together. Throw a little onion on top of that. How do you like your hot dogs?
I like a chili dog too.
Oh, you like a chili dog.
But I like bacon on it. A chili dog with bacon.
Just a foot-long bacon dog, huh?
Right? I might need to try that Sonoran dog you were talking about.
There you
then.
go. I want a hot dog real bad. It's a Skill Travel Show. We'll be right back.
Unskilled Travel Show is brought to you by Diamondback Land Surveying. For all your land surveying needs, contact Diamondback Land Surveying at 702-823-DBLS.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Unscaled Travel Show. I'm Jeremy Long here with my co-eater?
Sure, I'll take it.
I don't know. That's not a title I want. You know what? This is Amy.
Hello.
We're talking about essential eats here in the United States and talking about some of our iconic foods here in the U.S. Hamburgers, hot dogs, things of that nature. But I would argue, being from Texas, and we were talking about Tex-Mex and kind of mentioned it a couple of times now, but chili. Chili is one of those meals. Is it a meal?
Yeah, it's like a stew.
It's like a really thick stew.
Hearty stew.
It's very hearty. But chili, or chili con carne, is what they call it, right?
It's the official name.
Yeah. It was invented in Texas, of course, around the San Antonio area in the mid-19th century. And like you said, it's very hearty, but it's based on earlier Mexican indigenous chili pepper and meat traditions. So it's just kind of one of these staples that formed kind of, I'm guessing, over time. Someone had a recipe and they kind of passed it on.
Right.
But it gained popularity by cowboys on trail drives with settlers and, all of that. Cause it's one of those meals. It sticks to your ribs.
Oh, yes.
I mean, you're going to be feeling it for days.
Yeah. I made a chili, 2 weeks ago?
I'm still feeling it. That's why chili's on my mind right now. You can't get away from it.
But the thing with chili, there's so many variations on it too. Everybody has a chili recipe and none of them are the same.
Absolutely.
They have the same basics, and then it's one of those, some people throw everything in it. Some people are hardcore. No, it's meat and tomatoes and seasonings, and that's it. Nothing else.
Yeah. And there's always one thing that divides people when it comes to chili, and people who have never had chili, if you're from outside of that area, you need to understand this. There are people that like chili with beans, and there are people that like it without beans. What group do you fall in?
I am in the no beans camp.
Yeah. There's the people who say there should not be beans in chili, and then everyone else that's wrong.
That's wrong.
If beans even look at my chili, I'm going to throw a shoe at someone.
And see, I don't despise beans in there. That's just not how I made it growing up. And it's not, when I cook it, I don't even think about it. But I have had chili with beans, and it's not terrible. It's just different. The other thing is, some people eat chili over rice. You prefer to eat chili over chips.
Yeah. I like Fritos, Frito-Lay chips. And that's actually kind of like a blend of Tex-Mex things. I think it's very kind of iconic in Americana in itself, in that we call it Frito chili pie.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just Frito corn chips with chili on top. Sometimes cheese.
Yeah.
Unless you're older like me and you can't do cheese no more.
But it's one of those things, you would go get it from a concession stand at a football game or a baseball game, or, the county fair. It's very, I would say, small town.
And I think, and that's a great point, is that a lot of these foods are born out of these small town things. Yeah. Now, we say it and we talk about it like it's normal, but to a lot of people, they didn't grow up.
They
with
have
that.
no idea what we're talking about.
They have no idea what Frito chili pie is. They might now, because the internet's I think it's rapidly expanded, people's knowledge of recipes and food stuffs, and but growing up, that wasn't the truth for everyone like it was for us.
Right.
Gosh.
Well, there's another food we grew up with a lot, and it's not unique to Texas, but I would say it is very much an American food, and that is barbecue. I mean, the thing with barbecue, though, is depending on what region in the U.S. you're at, barbecue can taste completely different.
And every region swears theirs is the best. I mean, what do they do in Memphis?
Is theirs the sweet? No,
Is that
theirs
the
is the
sweet?
hot one. The sweet one is like Carolina.
Carolina has the sweet.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
Whoever does the sweet, I'd like to have a serious talk with them because I don't understand it.
I don't either.
It kind of makes me irrationally angry
And one of those
that the barbecue sauce is sweet.
one of those eastern states does like a vinegar barbecue sauce too. I don't
Yeah.
get that.
The vinegar, as long as it's not too over the top where all you taste is vinegar. I've had that before. I've had the, I guess it's the Nashville hot.
Mm-hmm.
But again, like you said, barbecue is very personal to a lot of people, especially in the southern states. It's like mid South.
Yeah.
It's very personal to people. And like I said, if you give me sweet barbecue, I will throw it in your face.
We like spicy. But I think that, again, is from where we grew up and the Cajun influence coming into our food.
I will call your grandmama names.
But
I'm
You'll
sorry.
call
What?
some-
I'm sorry. What? Go ahead.
but I was going to say, you were recently looking, but Texas Monthly, which is a magazine and now a website, they do like a barbecue tour type of thing.
It is every year. Texas Monthly magazine does a huge top 50 barbecue joints. This is like the gospel when it comes to Texas barbecue. And to get on this list, and not only to appear on the list, but to stay on the list is an entirely different thing because they do it year to year. And the editors, the reporters that report on it, take it very seriously. And it can make and break restaurants. There are iconic Texas barbecue stops that stay on the list and, varying places or whatever. But like in Austin, you'll find Franklin Barbecue. It's iconic. It has been on the list for years and years. There's Snow's Barbecue, in Lexington. And other places like Goldie's popped up within the last 10 years around Fort Worth, and other places come in and out of the list, and it can make superstars out and celebrities out of no-name people. In fact, we just saw this year's list, 2025's edition in our hometown. A restaurant popped up
Yeah.
with that actually in the top 5. I think it was number 4.
Yeah.
Which is unheard of. And it's one of the guys from Goldie's Barbecue from Fort Worth. He broke off and found a new partner, and now they opened a restaurant. And so that's big news.
That really is.
I'm really curious about this.
I know. And I was going to say, when we grew up there, we had a place that you and I would always go eat, and it was a butcher shop that also made sandwiches and smoked meats and things like that. And we would go get lunch there all the time. So I feel like people from these areas, they all have their own personal favorite too. Like, this is where we always go get our barbecue.
Now I want barbecue. There are some great channels too. If you follow along, like YouTube, TikTok, anything like that, there's actually, and I don't know their names, but they're from the UK. They're two friends that do the tours.
Josh and Joe or something.
Well, don't look at me. I don't know. Okay. Well, Josh and Joe or something, they usually tour the U.S. and they have a really fun video series where they're going through Texas, tasting barbecue, trying barbecue for the first time. And their reactions, I think, are just, I know it's kind of played up for social media, of course, but I really think when they get to some of the more famous places and the taste in there, you can't fake that, man.
Well, and we mentioned earlier, it has a rule: you don't eat gas station food, but there is one place that you can get barbecue that I think more and more people are knowing about.
Yeah, but thanks to social media, you can go to Buc-ee's gas station barbecue and get
So
you
good.
a barbecue Buc-ee sandwich.
So good. Every time we're
And
in
I
town.
think people know it. They know the icon, right? Keep it right here on Scale Travel Show.
Unskilled Travel Show is brought to you by Diamondback Land Surveying. For all your land surveying needs, contact Diamondback Land Surveying at 702-823-DBLS.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Unskilled Travel Show. Jeremy Long here with my co-host, Amy.
Hello.
We are in Sin City, Las Vegas in the Diamondback Land Surveying Studios. Thank you so much for not only listening every week, but finding us, online. We always post our episodes on all the major podcasting platforms. So if you don't catch us live, you can always catch us in repeat on either Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all those kind of places. So thank you so much for all the new subscriptions out there. You were talking about essential eats, essential tastes in the United States, right? So now it's down to, I think these landmark cities and some of these places that have been born out of these landmark cities to really, I guess, keep people interested and get them thinking about. And I'm not naming too many specific places because I think top 10 lists are just exhausting to try to keep up with.
Right.
We did just mention for barbecue, Texas Monthly does a top 50 barbecue joints in Texas. And like I said, they change all the time. And taste is subjective. Mm-hmm. I think it's more about keeping people interested. And when they are touring or doing a road trip through the United States, to give it a go. I mean, some people trust Yelp, some people trust Google reviews, things like that. I think the best way to experience a place is just to forget the reviews and go in there and experience a place.
Right.
If you didn't like it, you can just be like, salmon sucked. Let's get the hell out of here. You ain't got to go online and complain about it. You can just move on with your day, right?
And sometimes you are pleasantly surprised. You're like, I'm just popping in here to grab something to eat, and it ends up being one of the best meals you've ever had.
Yeah, absolutely. And then there's like iconic places. And I think it's hard for iconic places to live up to expectations because people, if you are doing research on a place, you will hear about a location over and over and over again. It gets built up in your mind. They call it the Paris syndrome.
The Paris syndrome, yeah.
Where, you finally get to Paris and it's a little bit disappointing because it just cannot live up to expectations.
Exactly.
And then there are places that even like you and I have visited that I think they were better than what my mind built up.
Okay.
One of those places, to me, one of the favorite places we have ever visited that is iconic is in LA. And it's very simple with hot dogs, but it's Pink's.
Pink's hot dogs.
Pink's hot dogs in LA. We had to stand in line. We stood in line for like 40 minutes.
Yeah, a long time.
For freaking hot dogs. Outside in the heat. But once we got those hot dogs, and I remember telling you, I was going, oh my God, these hot dogs better be good. They were good.
They were really good. And I think it's, yes, the food was really good. And they have such a variety of hot dogs. I mean, you can get a hot dog pretty much any way you want. But also just the nostalgia of Pink's, of what the history of it in this location and the celebrities that have eaten there. And they have photos of celebrities eating hot dogs all over the walls. Yeah. But it all just comes together and kind of just takes you back to this different time. Yeah.
It is. It's one of those things that I think just kind of, I think exceeded my expectations.
Yeah.
And then there are just like cities. I think you can go and just experience, if you're doing a gastronomy tour, which are gaining popularity, people going on food tours of regions, which I think you should. How better to understand and get to know a place than to experience its foods.
Right.
Places like New Orleans.
Oh, right. Yes.
Where, yes, we talked earlier in the show about the Cajun cuisine that we grew up in. And it's kind of born out of this region in New Orleans where they kind of mixed and matched flavors, French Creole, and it came from indigenous peoples and it came from enslaved peoples and all the different spices and everything else flowing through this area. But like, how do you How do you narrow down New Orleans to one single restaurant? You just can't.
You can't, no.
Now, there are foods to try. There's boudin, and there's po' boys,
Oh,
and
my
there's
gosh. You're speaking my language right now.
etouffees, and there's jambalaya, and there's all kinds of stuff you can experience.
What's the place with the beignets, though? Cafe
Cafe
du
du
Monde.
Monde.
Yes. Oh,
Yes,
so
if you
good.
want to die, like Amy almost did,
I inhaled powdered sugar. Yes.
go try some beignets from Cafe du Monde. Cafe du Monde is a very touristy place, and it's always kind of packed with people, but for good reason. Now,
Right.
other people, purists, will be like, there's better
Yeah.
beignets around town and everything, but it's part of the whole experience, right?
Exactly.
And then there's, like we mentioned, New York. You get a traditional hot dog. You get a traditional slice of pizza in New York, which apparently I didn't know until a short time ago, that a traditional New York slice of pizza is what?
Just cheese.
Just cheese. What?
Kind of boring, in my
it's kinda
opinion. So, but here's the debate. New York, Chicago, or Detroit style pizza?
All three very different. Now we
Yes.
we kind of poke fun at New York's. Chicago is famous for its deep dish pizza, of course, and then Detroit has its own style, right? I have yet to try a traditional Detroit style.
Theirs
pizza.
is the one that isn't like the meat's on top of the cheese. I
Yeah,
think it's like
something-
reversed.
Yeah, it's something like that. Which whatever. To me, I love the deep dish.
Me too.
The deep dish did not love me. I will not recount that story about it almost having an accident on the freeway.
But we had incredible
But it was
pizza
good.
in Chicago. Pizza
was
we
good.
still talk about years later. It was so good.
Yeah, we went to Pequod's in Chicago. And, I think it's one of those classic things. You mentioned going to Original Gems,
Yeah.
I believe, and then Pequod's and going to like a Cubs baseball game. That's Chicago right there. At least your first trip. That's what it should be. And for better or worse, there are even things like McDonald's. Okay. I'm not going to talk about the quality of food. I'm talking about the iconic class
Yeah.
of it. For better or for worse, it changed the game
It
for
did.
a lot of communities around the world.
Yeah, it's, we've been to a lot of countries now and seeing more American fast food that has spread across the world, again, for better or for worse, but the stuff that was uniquely American, but now you're seeing it in other cultures and they're putting their spin on our uniquely American foods. And it's interesting.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
We were in Japan.
Yeah.
And it was a grand opening of what?
Wendy's.
Of a Wendy's fast food restaurant. Now, of course, if you're outside the United States, Wendy's probably isn't as big, but they're kind of everywhere here. They're like McDonald's too, right? And some people swear by them, but they were opening up a brand new Wendy's. I think only the third location in Tokyo. We just happened to stumble on their grand opening day.
Yeah.
But their restaurant was not only hamburgers and French fries that you may know, but it also had unique spins on Japanese culture and their eats right onto the restaurants. Like,
It had like a shrimp dish.
I think I saw shrimp scampi.
Yeah. It had a lot of stuff that we in the US don't see in fast food restaurants. So it was very interesting for us to experience that.
And even roadside diners, I would argue.
Oh yeah.
Roadside diners. I'm not saying that other places didn't have roadside eateries, but I think we brought them to a different level. And we kind of exploded that culture and that feeling.
Yeah.
The diners. I mean, you talk about like Tom's Diner in New York,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
famous because that's where they used to get together on Seinfeld, right? That's the outside of the building, the little restaurant they always had at Tom's Diner. But then there's just so many that are along the way. I mean, right down the road here from Vegas, or between Vegas and LA, is a very famous one called Peggy Sue's.
Yeah.
And it's been there since, for years and years and years, that people, and it seems like kids rediscover it every 10 years. There's a whole new generation that's like, hey, there's this diner out here in the desert. Like, yes, it's been there for a while.
What's your favorite diner food?
My favorite diner food? Ooh, probably chicken fried steak.
So I would say fried chicken is probably
Fried
uniquely
chicken?
American too. It's Southern uniquely American.
I agree with that.
My favorite, also a Southern staple, biscuits and gravy.
Ooh.
And people not from the U.S. don't always know what that is, especially people from the U.K., because biscuits to them are cookies.
Yeah.
And they think we're putting gravy on cookies.
Gravy on...
No, it is a roll. It's like a breakfast bread with a creamed gravy on top of it. So good. Love it.
But you may be onto something. Cookies with gravy on top of it.
I think it depends on the cookie.
It just depends on the person. Give me a cookie. Give me some gravy. We hope we've inspired. We hope you walk away hungry from this episode. Come visit, right? And bring your appetite. Jeremy, Amy, Unskilled Travel Show. We'll see you guys next time.